Nandun sa may beach. Is it better to speak or to die?
You seem to know more than anybody else around here.
Well, if you only knew how little I know about the things that matter.
What things that matter?
I finished reading The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali and rated it a 5 out of 5 stars. This was one of the most beautiful books that I have read this year. I didn't expect this to top The Stationery Shop, but I loved it even more than The Stationery Shop. I feel like this one really was more grounded in the political landscape of Iran, everything from the revolution, the aftermath of the revolution, and how Iran transformed as a country after the collapse of the Shah. With the first book, it took place in an earlier timeline. I believe it was like pre-1950s, and then it kind of like flashed to the present in the US, but this was a lot more grounded in like the political movement and the political changes in Iran. So I really enjoyed that aspect. It also tied in September of 2022 and the current climate in Iran and how not much has changed for the condition of women and other people in Iran. This was just such an incredible story. Friendship was at the heart of it. This like long-term female friendship between these two young girls, and you got to experience their life as young girls into their early adolescence, their 20s, their 30s, their 40s and beyond. And I love that. Female friendships are one of my favorite things to read about, and they had such a beautiful friendship that stayed strong throughout the years, even though they both went on different paths. There was commentary about class and how socioeconomic positionality really contributes to their experiences as women in Iran. I will be reading anything she writes in the future. I also just had a fun experience reading this because I was reading my friend aissata's copy. She hosted a Friendsgiving a couple weeks ago and let us each take home a book. And so she had annotated this book while she read it. So it was really fun to just be able to like not only experience the story but also have the same reactions as her and like read her thoughts in the margins. This book was a beautiful experience. You guys should all go read it. And I feel like reading this just reignited my love of reading again. I feel like I've been going through the biggest reading slump, and I do feel like a lot of it stems from the fact that my reading tastes have just refined, which I've made my peace with it. Someone told me recently it's not a bad thing if you're not able to enjoy books as much as you were when you were younger, or able to get into the same books. Like, you're not going to enjoy the same books that you enjoyed when you were a teenager, because your tastes are evolving and refining as you're evolving and refining as a person. And while I'm still trying to maintain like the joy and the nonchalant aspect of reading, I also want to be intentional about what I'm reading and what books I'm picking up. It's interesting to think about how my reading tastes have evolved though. My favorite genres used to be fantasy and dystopian. Fantasy had a chokehold on me for the longest time ever, and I remember at some point I could never foresee myself ever falling out of love with fantasy, but I just feel like I hit a point where a lot of the fantasy books that I was reading were just redundant. Like, it was the same or similar world building across all of these different books. I also feel like I was a huge YA fantasy reader, and I just don't really read YA anymore. I've more shifted to adult, and adult fantasy just never hit the same as YA fantasy. I'm definitely not completely opposed to reading fantasy, but for the most part, I think I maybe read 1 or 2 fantasy books this year, if even. But anyways, Thanksgiving is this week and I don't have anything to wear, so I think I want to go to the Spectrum and do a little bit of shopping. H&M has their fall collection and they have 30% off of like cardigans and knitwear, so I kind of want to check out their knitwear cardigan section just because I've been really needing more cardigans and sweaters. I have this brown cardigan I got 2 winters ago from Pakistan and I wear it all year round. I feel like cardigans are so versatile and I've realized that they're worth the investment. I can wear them in the fall and the winter for the SoCal winters. I can kind of wear them a little bit in the spring and even on some of the chillier days in the summer. To be honest, California weather is pretty stable throughout the whole year. There's just like couple variations, 5 degrees up, 5 degrees down. But for the most part, I feel like when it comes to cardigans, especially if they're a little bit on the thinner side, I get a lot more use out of them. But this is the time to shop for cardigans. It's like the winter is when cardigans are on the market and they're in sale. Recently, I've been noticing there's been a shift with cardigans where cardigans are just being cut differently. I think before, a lot of cardigans used to be more on the cropped side of things. Even this cardigan is a lot more cropped than I would have loved. But this season, I've been noticing a lot more longer cardigans. Not like the full length ones, but just the ones that instead of being cropped, they come down a little bit lower, which I have a feeling it's because low-rise jeans have been coming back in. Whatever it is, I'm happy about it. My other camera died, but I think the plan is to go into Capital One Cafe, get some work done, and then do some shopping afterwards. I'm wearing these BDG jeans from my sister's closet. BDG is the Urban Outfitters jean brand, and they have the best jeans. Like, the quality is really good, the fit is always really nice. I'm obsessed, and they're like these like darker wash jeans. I've been really in my cooking era this season. Something about the fall just always makes me want to get into cooking. One of my goals this year was to learn how to cook. It's not that I don't know how to cook or that I'm not good at cooking. It's just I never know what to cook. Every year I want to learn how to cook and then I don't. But this year I decided, you know what? I've graduated, I have time on my hands, and I've been really trying to try out new recipes and things. I'm really enjoying cooking. Like, it's actually something that I actually find really fun. And I feel like the biggest shift for me was I really started to actually save the recipes that I would see on TikTok or Pinterest that I wanted to recreate and try them. This week I made 2 rounds of lasagna soup because it was going viral on TikTok, and it was so delicious. Like, I am obsessed with it, and I think I'm gonna have to go get ingredients to make a 3rd batch of it because we've gone through 2 pots in a week. And it's super easy. Like, it's very simple. It's just like a couple extra ingredients that you have to add to like normal pasta, and it tastes delicious. I also tried making sweet potato brownies. I made a batch last night. To be honest, not my best work. I feel like I needed to add a little bit more honey, and like the consistency of it is not quite right. I was following this recipe. I did sweet potatoes, unsweetened cacao, honey, eggs, whey protein so they'd have a little more protein to them, and then a little bit of olive oil. But something about the consistency was low-key off, so I'm gonna try again. I definitely need to add more sweetener next time I make it, but I'm glad I tried it because I have been just like wanting to try making sweet potato brownies. Sounds like the nastiest thing, but it's actually so delicious. I love sweet potato. I bought a bag of sweet potatoes last week, but my mom and one of my sisters don't really like sweet potato, so we had a bunch of extra, and I was like, okay, this is the time to try out new recipes. The main thing for me was like, I don't want to go back to school and not know how to cook. I feel like my senior year of college, when I finally had an apartment and a kitchen where I could cook, I was just making the same recipes over and over again, and they would get very boring. Take this as your sign to lean into cooking in 2025 and just like start off simple, save a couple recipes, and start cooking. I feel like the whole stereotype of like Americans can't cook is so true, because when you think about other countries, like, I don't know, the people that I follow from other countries that are my age, like, just know how to cook so much, and they're not used to like going to Trader Joe's and getting like those frozen meals. Like, they cook everything from scratch, which is why everyone's so shocked by like people like Nara Smith, because it's like, we're not used to doing that here. But I don't think people realize like she's literally German, and in Germany and other countries outside of the US, they very much are used to cooking things from scratch and cooking meals fresh. 2025 is about to be my cooking era for real. You heard it here first. These are the black sweatpants. They just came in the mail. The same ones that I showed you guys in my last vlog, but in black, and they're so comfy. I'm heading out to go on a little grocery run. grab some stuff. Probably gonna go to Trader Joe's, Aldi, and Whole Foods, the Holy Trinity. When you're not cramming for exams or pulling all-nighters to beat a deadline, Q4 really is a time to live the soft life, to lean into your hobbies, to indulge in moments of stillness, and to savor the time with your friends and family. This season is a brief time before we're focused on reinventing ourselves, time where we can just exist. Me and my hometown Barnes & Nobles are like this. I swear, it's the same workers that have been there since I was 11, quite literally 11, and begging to be hired as a part-time underage worker. I saw one of the regular workers. She's so sweet. She always asks about me and my sisters whenever I pop in, and honestly it's been a minute since I've gone to Barnes & Nobles. Just have not been buying books recently, and I just had the weird craving to browse around. I was literally gonna browse around, and then she was like, pick out 2 books and I'll give you my employee discount, which was so sweet of her. So I picked out The House of Eid by Sadeka Johnson. I'm gonna actually start this tonight because this has been on my TBR for a minute. I thought this had come out before her other book, Yellow Wife. I read her book Yellow Wife 2 years ago, loved it. It was one of my favorite books that I read that year. That was like a historical fiction slave narrative book. This is a historical fiction, takes place in the 1950s in Philadelphia. She's on track to becoming the first in her family to attend college. She meets this guy at Howard University. He comes from like a wealthy black bourgeoisie American family. She's kind of dealing with the pressures of joining his family and all of the expectations that they have. So honestly, it sounds really interesting. Every time I read a historical fiction, I really enjoy it. So I just want to lean more into historical fiction. Can't wait to start that. This other book I'm really excited about. The cover is what caught me. Like, look how stunning this cover is. Just in general, I have been obsessed with the graphic design of books recently. We're really heading in an amazing direction, I feel like, when it comes to graphic design and book covers. It was scary for a minute there. Like, circa 2012 to 2014, that was genuinely the scariest era for book covers. If you know, you know. But recently I've just been loving how creative and fun book covers have gotten recently. It makes me so excited to read and to buy books. This stuck out to me. It is a literary fiction book. It says it's a harrowing tale of Indigenous family separation. Takes place in 1962. Plot seemed really interesting, and this is like the Barnes & Noble's Book of the Month pick, which I guess is a new thing where Barnes & Noble's picks one book a month. I'm assuming it's kind of like the Reese's Book Club thing where they just like select books to promote every single month, and I'm assuming their employees vote on it. I don't know how they kind of decide on that, but really excited. I got the Barnes & Noble's exclusive edition. So we'll definitely be reading this probably after The House of Eve. I want to read The House of Eve first because I've been really wanting to pick this up. But I'm so excited. It's been a minute since I've bought books, and I'm really happy that I've actually scaled down on buying books because it makes the joy of buying books so much sweeter. It really just brings back that serotonin and that feeling of being able to go to Barnes & Noble's when I was like in middle school once every 6 months with my parents, and just being able to buy a bunch of books and coming home really happy. Actually, that reminds me, I need to film a bookshelf tour for this year because I don't think I've filmed a bookshelf tour yet with these shelves at least. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. My sister sent me on a little last minute errand run to Ralph's, of course, because Ralph's is like the only grocery store that seems to be open on Thanksgiving every year. Every Thanksgiving, we usually go to a family friend. She hosts like all of the Mauritanian families in the like the SoCal area. So it's like a friends, family kind of occasion. We don't have like that traditional Thanksgiving where we all sit around at a table and say what we're grateful for. But it's always fun. It's like more of like a potluck style with friends and family. My sister is making mac and cheese and my mom's making mashed potatoes and corn, I think. Usually she does mashed potatoes, green beans, and corn, but I think this year she's just doing mashed potatoes and corn. I don't love Thanksgiving food. Every year I seem to like Thanksgiving food less and less, but I am still excited to eat because these past few days I've been making up some of my days from Ramadan. So I am just so excited to have like a good warm meal and see everyone too. My sister and I are going to film a get ready with me for Thanksgiving. We decided spontaneously last night to film this because we were rewatching our get ready with me from the summer of 2023, and we're like, we can do better. You guys came in clutch because I asked you guys so last minute to send in questions, and you guys have already submitted questions, so thank you guys for that. I always ask you guys for questions over on Instagram. I'm excited to film with her because I love just filming with her. Hopefully my makeup has gotten better since 2023. I was genuinely looking back at the way that I used to do makeup and I was horrified. What was I on? It was bad. And the funny thing is, she literally told me, she used to tell me like, you were not good at makeup, and I just didn't listen. Very excited. Hope you guys have some fun plans for the day and you guys just get to spend the day with family and friends and just honestly take a break from the insanity of Q4. It is Black Friday and I just got so lucky finding a parking spot. I'm at the Spectrum. I wasn't planning on going Black Friday shopping this year, but Cotton On is having a sale and I have been waiting for their cardigans to go on sale all season. They have the cutest cardigans, sweaters, knitwear, and I saw online last night that their whole store is 40% off. I actually contemplated just making an order online so I wouldn't have to come in person, but I feel like it's just always nicer to go in person and try things on. The parking situation and everything is honestly hell here every year, but I'm hoping it's just going to be a quick trip in and out. They just opened like 15 minutes ago, so let's go shopping. I've got a little haul for you guys. Right as I got in line, the line was insane. Really, I was going in for mainly cardigans and they had such cute stuff. All of Cotton On, the entire store, was 40% off. I got a lot of pink, so trigger warning for that. But first thing I got was this pink button-up cardigan. It's very soft, long, just like more of a looser fit, which I really like, and it has these like white buttons. They had this in a bunch of different colors, but I wanted pink because I've been obsessed with pink cardigans this season. I've been wanting to get a pink cardigan, and then I know it's going to be a lot of pink, but I got these pink flare leggings because they're just so cute, and I've seen these are the fold over flare leggings, super long. I use these to work out and go to the gym, but I feel like I could even pair these two and make it kind of like a matching set vibe almost. They had a ton of other stuff that I wanted to get that was so cute, but I held myself back because I was like, you know what, let me just get these two items and keep it pushing. And I'm so glad I did, because I was on my way out and I parked in the Nordstrom parking structure, and then I decided to just like walk through Nordstrom just a little bit to check out the BP section, which is the section that I bought those like Nordstrom sweats that I showed you guys in my last vlog that I was obsessed with. I wanted to see if they had those same sweats on sale. They didn't have those. They only had like the jogger and the cargos, and honestly the sale wasn't too good. But I did check out the rest of that section and I found the cutest like denim jacket top situation from Mango. I tried this on in the dressing room. The sleeves are just kind of go out a little bit. It comes with like a little tie so that it kind of cinches in at the waist a little bit, and I just love the fit of this, the quality of the wash. It looks like this top that I had been seeing on Naked Fashion that I've been wanting to get forever, and I thought this would be really cute. Like, I feel like this is a good staple that I could keep in my closet for a long time, and it's something that I can wear like in the fall and the winter during some of the colder months. So definitely will be taking this on my trip. But last but not least, I didn't get this today. I got this a few days ago, but I think I forgot to show you guys. I got this top from Universal Thread. I'll show you guys how I style this when I do end up wearing it.